this place. Brothers getting killed. People thought friends are fake.
When it's time to leave, where will you go?
How will you choose to break your plateau?
The shackles and chains are all of the mind.
Fear and doubts are all left behind.
The challenge is great,
if not a little hostile.
but we'll be fine. Just keep the gospel. My name is Adam, and I'm a hip-hop artist from Baltimore named San Zulu.
Hip-hop has always been in my life. My brother's a DJ, and growing up, his sounds were always playing throughout the house. So I knew like Wu-Tang, Big Daddy Kane, Nas, Mobb Deep, all those, A Tribe Called Quest, all that, was embedded in me from early on.
My name is Nyota Parker. I'm 18. I'm a rapper, singer, and songwriter. I'm half Irish, half Congolese, and I'm, now part of this African culture, so that's who I am. I was introduced to music when I was, very, very young. I probably started singing and stuff when I was 4, and then started rapping when I was maybe around 10-ish. So ever since I was in Ireland and super young, I knew about music, and it was always something like deep within me. But then when I came here and I was introduced to like hip hop and rap and all of that, then it really started growing from there.
Hip hop was always that outlet that I used to escape the problems of the world. I wrote my first rhyme when I was about 9 years old. It was about time and how we never have enough time. And it seems that I've always wanted to reflect my thoughts into lyricism and writing.
I love jazz, I love neo-soul, I love boom bap and all that mellow kind of vibes, right? And all of those kinds of people really just brought out this other, mellow and more conscious side of me, which is where I'm leaning more towards, but I can't get away from both sides, so I decided to, fuse both of these sides of me. I then created a new kind of genre called Traz, which is a unique infusion of trap and jazz. I was always, an outcast in school and in class. I would just sit inside or sit in the bathroom to eat my lunch and watch YouTube videos because I just liked to be alone a lot of the time. And I started just doing my own thing. Then people started to realize what I'm doing instead of taking it as, a joke.
High school was when things started to change. Now my brother and my nephew, they moved back into our house, and there was a personal tragedy around the time. So I was an angry person, man. It was around this time that I decided to really take creating music and being an MC serious. I linked up with my homeboy. It's actually someone who I have been rapping with since middle school. And we use technology to our advantage. This was around the time that blogs started to take off, and we uploaded our music to these blogs, to these different websites, and we built our fan base that way. It took off pretty fast. We toured the country. We were featured in publications like OK Player, Prefix Mag, Two Dope Boys. All these different rap publications were giving us love, and we were touring the country and getting love from people too. But things changed.
In a way, I was a bit isolated from others because of my choices, but now I realize who my real friends are. I would never fall into laziness or easily give up, and I think that's what San Zulu and I saw in each other. we have different struggles, and he's like 10 years older than me, so of course he has his experiences.
Around 2012, I ended up in Chicago, and being in Chicago, it just blew my mind, man, because there are so many resources there. All right, for instance, when I got there, I decided to visit the library. Yeah, I know. I love to read, I love to expand my mind. And when I went into the basement, man, there was this room. And in this room, it had every type of instrument you could think of. And it had like a booth with a nice microphone and a MacBook. And as long as you were between the ages of 11 and 17, you could use the room for free. So I'm thinking like, why is this not back in Baltimore? And that's how my journey led me back to Baltimore. And that's how the name Sun Zulu was given to me.
I learned how to truly be myself when I was about 16, when I understood that music is not only a passion or a hobby, but it's actually a tool. I listen to a lot of different music, and I hang out with a whole bunch of different people who may have influenced my certain taste in things, and vice versa. My message and delivery makes me different, as my message is all about not conforming to society and the standards that, like, the world tries to put you on, all these unrealistic standards that the system tries to make you conform to, such as, gender norms and stereotypes. I just don't conform to that. There's no such thing as a female rapper, as a female this and female that. That's just what you do. If you're good at it, you're good at it. But there's no need to bring gender into anything, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad I've been recognized as one of the key players in the hip-hop scene in Cape Town. So I'm happy that my message is actually getting out there.
I wanted to connect the experiences that I had growing up, the beauty that I found in hip-hop, to the younger generation. This was right around the time that frustrations were starting to boil, and eventually in 2015, that's when the uprising happened. I could say that's what really opened my eyes to, all right, these parallels between South Africa and Baltimore are becoming more apparent to me. I need to really reach out and figure out how to make this something that's real.
We both have connections to being African and going through the struggle of being young. We met on Instagram in 2017, and I've been following up on him, like he's been following up on me and my music as well. Then we decided to work on a track together that actually explains how music can transcend throughout different cultures, but still find something in common. We really connected, and now I feel like even though I'm still getting to know him, he's like an older brother, because he's literally advising me about many things and what's out there for my musical journey, and I try my best to do the same,
So the track we did together is called Gahspill. It was produced by my man Kobe. He's based in Sacramento, spent some of his time in Los Angeles, and it was just perfect. It has a nice piano, it builds with the bass, and we had a lot to say about the world that we live in, and if we had a chance to really go out into the world and connect with one another, what we would do and how we would do it. So, I said for the kids, because that's my experience. That's what I discovered when I came back to Baltimore, that this really is for the kids.
We all have our ways of expressing our concerns and stuff, but for some of us, that is through music. This is how an uprising or a revolution happens, and I think that's how Sun Zulu and I managed to write our verses, coming from very similar angles. We come from places of racist history and major oppression, and our song, it's all about music and how it transcends through different cultures and the redefinition of labels through music. And what you guys call protesting or going on a strike, here we call it toy-toying. But the difference is that here, it's always done through music and singing in unison.
Yeah. Throughout history, both of our cultures have influenced each other. The Black consciousness movement and the Civil Rights movement left long-lasting impacts on the world. People such as Malcolm X, Steve Biko, Nelson Mandela, and Martin Luther King Jr. altered their country's fate and lived lives worth remembering. Although our names and ways of life may slightly vary,
who else is going to be you? You set your own trends and push through the walls of the system. In the end, your sound will be heard.